This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk a little bit about the Styles Clash, because that's been his finishing maneuver going back to the very beginning of his TNA run. And he used it obviously in Ring of Honor and in Japan. And he uses it here, and Jericho kicks out. Meltzer would say, I was really surprised they did that this early in Styles' run. Styles then used the calf crusher for their submission. Jericho did a supercell job on that move, struggling and refusing to tap until finally tapping. Jericho got up and stared down Styles and teased attacking him. They both had their fists ready to throw, but Jericho offered his hand and Styles shook it. So it's a nice little post-match thing as well, but I wanted to ask about Styles Clash. This was discussed a lot once upon a time, that the move was banned and WWE did not want him to do it. And I think Jericho even did an interview where he said, when AJ first came into WWE, Vince did not know him from a hole in the ground. And obviously I knew AJ Styles. I'd never touched him. I'd never been in the ring with him ever, but obviously knew his reputation and knew what he could do. And we really started gelling. The first match was okay. The second match is okay, but we started really coming together. The tag team match we had where I turned against him and the New Day was 5 stars. The WrestleMania match we had was great. And the one we had the next night, the 4-way with me versus Owens versus AJ versus Cesaro, was a tremendous match. And that's the one when I basically got the Styles Clash unbanned because it was banned. And I was like, I knew that Vince had heard that somebody got hurt by the move, but I also knew that he probably didn't even know what the move was. He just knew the name, the Styles Clash. So I pitched it to him as a cool move that AJ does where he drops you on your face, and we did it at WrestleMania. We did it a couple times. The first time I kicked out of it just so Vince could see it, and people were so mad at me. I'm helping get this move acclimated and unbanned, and the next month he's using it on the floor against Roman Reigns. So I'm interested in hearing your take on the Styles Clash, and as an agent, if you had heard the move was banned.
Well, I heard that one guy got hurt with it, but I think it was that guy's fault when it was reviewed exactly what happened.
There's been a couple moments over the years that went poorly. One was in Nashville with Ring of Honor. Roderick Strong, who you may know from NXT.
Yeah.
I think a lot of wrestlers instinctively are taught to tuck your head. And he went to tuck his head, but you're going to fall flat. So if your head is down, that's actually the opposite of what you would do on a Styles Clash. And I actually happened to be in the building the day that Roderick was hurt, and it was a scary scene. But technically, if you know how to take the move, and I'm certainly not piling on Roderick Strong. What the fuck do I know? I'm not a wrestler. But I just think instinctively a lot of guys probably tuck their head because they're used to that on power bombs or whatever. Well, it works the opposite way here, and he was hurt. So I understand where the discussion comes from of, hey, this is a dangerous move. But when executed properly, I don't think AJ's ever hurt anybody with it. So I'm interested your take. Didn't mean to cut you off there. I just wanted to add some context to Roderick Strong.
Well, I'd have to see it to look at what might have went wrong.
Right.
And I can only compare it to things that happened today. I know a lot of guys try to make guys' finish look even bigger than what it is when it doesn't need it. It doesn't deserve it. I'll give you an example. Matt Hardy on his finish on the Twist of Fate is basically just like you twist into it. The guy lays out, hits on his stomach, easy peasy. It's not a dangerous move per se, but I see guys that try to elevate themselves and make it more of a downward motion other than a flat on their stomach motion, which is intended to do. It's like similar to a diamond cutter, similar to an RKO. It's a belly bomb. And the audience understands that. When guys try to make it bigger, there's a risk of getting hurt. That's one example. I would have to see what happened on the Roderick Strong thing to know, well, was he pushing too hard to make it a bigger bump? Did he not actually know how to do it? Was it a mistake on AJ? I don't know because it's not in front of me.
Sure.
I can't see it. I'm not a fan of anybody getting hurt.
Of course.
Because of recklessness. I hate recklessness in this business because 9 times out of 10, it could have been avoided.
Right.
But I bet you AJ Styles hit that move 1,000 times successfully.
Oh, sure.
So where to place the blame where, I don't know. I'm not a fan of kicking out on guys' finishes either. And I think the Styles clash, was not established already as a finish, which is the reason Jericho could do it and not do any damage. And he knew that. I mean, the guy just got here. We don't know what his finish is. That big forearm off the top obviously is his finish, springboard forearm, and it looks the part, and it is a finish. So I'm not, no issues with that. And if Chris was trying to show Jericho or show Vince the move, totally believe that. I don't think you hurt AJ by kicking out of it because it wasn't established yet. Not with WWE, maybe other places.
But you had heard as an agent that a guy got hurt with it, and that's the reason we're not doing it. Were you surprised to see them actually use it in the match like this?
If I would have been, and I don't even know if I was privy to that conversation or that set of guidelines, but I would have been shocked. I would have been very shocked if it's a banned move, and for it to just suddenly happen would have shocked me, because I know the heat that would have gotten. That would have been viewed as just straight defying Vince's edict, and that never works.
Let's talk about what we've got next. As a reminder, we just covered the Royal Rumble, and AJ Styles made his debut, and it was quite the debut. The crowd was ready for him, and they even just did a special on this on the network recently. So what's our follow-up effort? He's getting a singles match here with Chris Jericho, and he wins in 16 minutes and 22 seconds. Meltzer would say crowd was really into this one as well, with loud dueling chants. JBL tried to put this over as a huge star from Japan coming to WWE, saying it was like if somebody like Kobashi, Kawada, or Hansen or Inoki came in during their primes. Well, Hansen and Inoki actually did. At times they were slightly off, but the actual match layout and intensity were tremendous, and the crowd was super into it. One highlight was Styles doing a plancha to the floor and Jericho catching him with a drop kick. They're pulling out all the stops here, Arn. It's a very stiff match. They got 4 stars in the Observer. This is his type of match. You're more of an old school guy, but you certainly have an appreciation for the new school stuff. Hell of a debut here in singles competition on pay-per-view for AJ Styles. What'd you think?
Loved it. They were close enough in styles that they could cater to each other. Chris loves challenges, and I know at that time he was really hitting on all cylinders. He really understood, his positioning with the company and the storytelling end of it. And Chris would look at that, not who's winning, who's losing, which a lot of guys make that mistake. Well, why is he beating me? Bullshit. He took that on as a challenge to go out and literally have the best match of the night. And, there's that, us forgetting that there was that gap of time that AJ Styles was on top in TNA that no one ever addressed, obviously, for those reasons, that we know. But, making him a bigger star because he was the top guy in all those years at TNA, top guy in Japan. Right now he's top guy in WWE. But why you couldn't just say that, which they were no threat to, at that TNA being what I'm speaking about. There were no threat, so, hey, go ahead and say, hey, this guy dominated. It just makes his pedigree bigger. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Just saying he's a big star from Japan. I mean, the audience knows prior to that where he was and
right.
What he had done. And sometimes it's better just to quit. It's louder in the room to avoid a conversation than just having the conversation. And I think that was a good chance that you had, that you could have just made him even bigger.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.